Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Carmen with Elemental Designs, and today we're going to be creating another card. For this card I'm going to be using manila colored cardstock, and I'm going to be doing a masking technique. I've used a very pretty kind of tag shape to create a window that I'm going to use to mask the front of my card. And with this, I'm going to be using some Holtz Distress Oxides in broken china to create a very pretty effect. I've pretty much just marked what the upside is to the card so that I know which way everything has to kind of face. And I'm going to be using the mini blending tool to just create a nice little kind of cloudy effect on the top portion of my window area. I am also going to be using a little bit of black just to give it a little bit more boldness around the edges. And this is a very simple kind of card to create, which has a very pretty effect once all the blending and all the colors are in. And I'm going to be using from this Unity Stamp Company set this cute little row of birds. It's got 5 cute little birds with a lot of cute little hearts, and they're all holding little flowers. So I'm stamping out the little birds so that I know exactly where they're going to be. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp it out again on another separate piece of cardstock, and I'm going to be coloring these little birdies in with some Finecolour markers as well as some Touchfives. So I'm using a variety I'm using a variety of colors to color these little birdies in. I've had these markers now for over a year, and I must say the quality is still very good. I'm able to still color very nicely with them. I don't use them very often because markers are really not my go-to thing, but they have lasted. So for the price when I bought them, I think it was like $30 something for each set of almost 80 markers. They're still holding on pretty well, you guys. They're still holding on pretty well. I had to color in an additional bird, stamp out an additional bird, because I really didn't like the boldness of the blue on the very first one, so I changed up my color scheme and went back in and colored in another one. I didn't want the birds to be too dark because I already had somewhat of a darker background, so I just wanted to have a nice variety of colors. And the colors that I used, if I can find my little piece of paper that I was using. The only issue with these markers is that their numbers on the cap really don't relate to any type of color family. They don't even really go in sequence. Like, you'll have 2 markers that are you know, in the same color family, and their numbers will be in sequence, like 34 and 35. But then the next color that goes in that same color family will be like 116. So that's the reason why I'm not really going to refer to you know, the colors and the numbers for this video. I just used a variety of oranges, a variety of yellows, I used a variety of pinks, and a variety of lavender, and that's pretty much, you know, the colors that I picked out. And I did swatch them out, which you can see, which I tend to kind of swatch them out for each individual project, just so that I know what I'm getting, because, sorry for the noise, okay, because the color, the caps and the colors in the caps don't relate to the color that's on the marker either. So you definitely have, these are definitely the kinds of markers that you have to swatch out. But despite that, the price and the quality are very good. Now, they're not super professional, they're not like Copics or anything like that, although their shapes do resemble various different brands in the Copic line. They're very good. The quality is very good overall, and you get the desired effects if you know how to more or less use them. I'm still very novice when it comes to markers, so this is all fun for me. It's not necessarily like use this marker, use that marker in order to do it. I just kind of try to grab 3 of the closest ones so that at least I have a lighter, mid, and a darker tone in order to create some, lighter areas and darker areas. And that's pretty much about it. That's as far as my knowledge for markers and coloring with markers kind of goes. But overall, I will say that I was very satisfied with, with the way that the card turned out at the end. So, and as you can see, the colors are really, really vibrant. Really, really, really vibrant. I really do like how how it all comes out. Now I have swatched all of my markers. I put a little. I did this when I first got them, and it still has them on the ends. What I did is that I kind of punched out with paper a whole bunch of little circles, and I glued little circle dots in the tops of each of the caps on one side so that I can at least keep the numbers on one cap and then just have it swatched on the top. And that kind of allowed me to see not only how the marker looked when it was wet, but also how the marker aged, how the paper aged with time from being exposed to the light. And if you guys are interested in getting an update on how the markers are doing, and overall showing you guys the little cap ends with all my little swatched circles, it's been over a year now since I've had these markers, so you can really tell the difference in the colors and how they've aged. A lot of them have maintained their original shade, but a lot of them did get lighter on the ends for the most part. But again, for the price, not a bad deal. I'm currently working on trying to swatch them out and compare them to the Copics so that I can get I guess a crossover chart, so that I know which colors, in case I do want to refill these at one point, I can figure out which Copic refill I can go ahead and buy and use to refill these markers. But I have to get my hands on a Copic's color chart first. I tried printing one out, but I think my printer is not doing the right colors. I don't think it's giving me the right shade, so I'm a little worried about that. So I'll see what I do with that. But overall, my card is almost done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and stamp in my sentiment, and the sentiment says, "Life is better with friends." And I did fuzzy cut all of the little shapes out and then glued them back on. I didn't make them dimensional though. I just glued them flush with the card. And here I'm just adding a little bit more of the broken china and the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, because since my outline for that shape is already dark, it will work. So this is the end of the card, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you subscribe.